Okay, sir. Okay. Yes, guys. I think you all are ready to gain new information, new knowledge, and a new topic. Today, the session will be taken by Mr. Shailesh Shivan on the topic data and business analytics, the most relevant topic nowadays. Anyway, I welcome my dear friend Aishwarya to invite all of you to the session.
Very good morning to one and all gathered here. On this auspicious occasion, I would like to welcome all for the program. Stars shine at night, some stars shine at bright daylight. It's our pleasure to welcome on such star Mr. Sailesh Shivan, postdoctoral fellow Knowledge Media, Institute of Open University UK. He is an alumni of KIM. I heartily welcome sir to this event.
Thank you.
Now I welcome, thank you sir. Now, I welcome our beloved faculties of IMT Punapra on this session. Welcome, teachers. Finally, my friends, juniors, the students of IMT Punapra, and the participants who are with us. I welcome you all to this wonderful event.
Thank you so much, Aishwarya.
Reshma, I think you are not audible. Like, we will start the session now. We will start.
Shailesh sir, can we start?
Sure. We can start. So, am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Hello. Yes, is my screen visible to you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think we can start. So first of all, I would like to express my very thankful to you people. And I think it is my first experience with dealing with a bunch of management enthusiastic students. Okay. So I'm basically not a management person. I'm purely from the technical side. I'm a, BTech, MTech graduate. Okay. So, but in our current scenario, uh, all these stuffs, the technicality, the management, the business, everything comes together to make everything successful. Okay. So it is very relevant to understand the concepts of data and business analytics in the perspective of technology as well as in the management. Okay. So I'm very thankful to for giving such a wonderful opportunity here, and I'm really happy that I was a part of this camp and IMT, which is at Punabra. Okay. So let me start. So before that, I'm making this session. I would like to make the session more interactive. Okay. So in between, if there is any query, you can ask. Also, be uh, be involved in the session. Okay. Okay. So in between, I would like to give you some feedbacks through your mobile phones or some using a website. I will show in the slides. Okay. So please be ready with your mobile phones. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Yeah. So in the today's session, I'm going to cover a bit about data analytics. After that, we are going to business analytics. After that, we are really going to have a hands-on session on some simple experiments that we can perform with these tools. Okay. So hope this will be interesting for you. So we can start with what is the idea of data, information, knowledge, and wisdom? Okay. So what do you mean by data? What is actually data? Data can be viewed as something unrelated raw facts. Okay. So if I'm telling like Shailish, Alapi, computer science, 29. Okay. So these are all raw facts, but it is not actually conveying some idea. Okay. Or it is not meaningful. So data from the definition, we can see that data is discrete objective facts or observations which are unorganized and unprocessed and therefore have no meaning or value because of the lack of context and interpretation. In another way, I can tell like data is recorded symbols including words, numbers, diagrams, and images which are the building block of communication. Okay, so when we are dealing with data, it is actually not conveying some meaning. Okay, they're all raw facts, but it is not conveying some meaning. But we can make this data more meaningful. Okay, so there comes, we need to understand the terms information, knowledge, wisdom, etc. Okay, as I said, data are facts and statistics collected for reference or analysis. Okay, and if you're connecting this data some way, okay, or if you're making this more meaningful, then I can say it is called as information. So information is facts provided or learned about something or someone with the provided data. Okay, and what is knowledge? And knowledge is actually the facts, informations, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. Okay. So from data, from information, one can acquire knowledge through its experience or education. And what is actually wisdom? The wisdom is actually the ability or the quality of a person to apply his knowledge to make proper judgments or proper decisions. Okay, so as you can see in the right side, there is a pyramid. Okay, that represents the different levels of transforming the data to wisdom. Okay, so if you're while driving a car, if you're seeing a red color, okay, in the perspective of data, it is only a red color. Okay, and it can be represented using something like uh, something like then RGB values or something. Okay, so it is only a red color. Okay, but by correlating different things in your scene, that is, you are seeing that red color from a traffic post, then you can actually detect a meaning like it is actually south facing traffic light on the corner of Pitt and George streets has turned red. Okay, so connecting all these facts, you got the idea that there's a traffic light turned red. Okay, now what is knowledge? On seeing this particular knowledge, okay, you have to get an idea that I am driving a car and the traffic light is turned red. Okay, so you got something from the information, that is a traffic light is turned on and you are driving a car. And what is the wisdom? After getting this knowledge, you have to take a decision, right? You have to take a decision that like since the traffic light is turned red, I have better stop the car. Okay, So this is how we can differentiate the data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. So why I am telling these things are, in most of the cases, in the case of business as well as in data analytics, we have data. Okay, we have data, and we are trying to transform that data into in some context we are trying to transform that to information, trying to convert that to knowledge, and trying to convert that to wisdom. Okay, so these terms are very important while we are dealing with data and business analytics. Hope you are clear with the concept of data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. Okay, now why data is important? Okay, why data is important? uh, when we are looking into the theoretical aspects of data, it makes informed decisions. It will help to get the results you want. It will help us to find solution to problem. It will back up your arguments, and it will make you strategic in your approaches, and it will keep track of all and know what you are doing well. Okay, so in 2000, before 2000, and you know that the commodity that governs the entire, or that affect the entire economy and entire economy in the world is actually the crude oil, right? But nowadays we can say that the data is the new oil, because uh, all the industries are actually relying upon the data. Okay, so it is very relevant to know about this data. And I will give you an example like, have you ever used Facebook as a paid application?
No, sir, no.
Someone, no. Yeah. And you just think that, uh, what is the average salary of an employee at Facebook company? Do you know? It is annually around 60 lakhs or something. Okay, and probably monthly it will be 3 to 5 lakhs. Okay, and how many employees are there in Facebook? It's around 58,000. Okay, so as a salary itself, how big the amount they are dealing with? Okay, and we are not paying anything to Facebook. Then how will they generate that money? Do you have any idea?
Promotions చేయమండి.
Yeah, they're using promotions. And other way, have you ever experienced on searching a particular thing on Amazon or something, after you logging onto the Facebook, you will get the ad of that particular item in your Facebook page. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. How they are knowing that you are searching? How Facebook is knowing that you are searching a particular item on Flipkart or Amazon?
మన
Because
డేటా సార్ వెళ్ళింది.
yeah, actually we are all logging into Facebook, into Amazon or Flipkart using a particular credential, right? And in most of the cases, those credentials will match with the Facebook credentials. So they can actually track out who is searching this particular thing, and and the account of that particular person in the Facebook. So what Amazon and Flipkart is doing, like, they will give all the search history and the user details to the Facebook, and they will give the money. Then Facebook will promote or advertise that to particular persons. Okay, so have you got the idea?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so in that case they are actually selling the data. Okay, so data is as much important. And one more example I can give you, like, have you ever used the Google app? Okay, Google app, which is used to track the traffic in prominent cities. Have you ever used?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How they're getting, or have you ever heard about a satellite or something that is deployed for this particular task? Actually, no, there is no satellite or any devices deployed for this particular traffic tracking. Then how they are getting this information? How they are getting this information? Like at Whitela Junction at 9 a.m. this much traffic is there. How they are getting that particular information? Do you have any idea? Is actually the density of mobile phones that are using in that particular location. Okay, if the density is high, then there will be a high traffic, right? And if the density of mobile phones are less, then there will not be much traffic. But the thing is, have you ever give permission to track your location by Google? The Google Maps are deployed by Google, right? Have you ever give permission to track your locations or your travel patterns by Google? Actually, we are not giving that. And how it is happening is the Google, the mobile phone you are using have an operating system, right? Which is called as Android operating system. And the operating system itself is developed by Google. Okay. So even if you are
Yes.
not giving permission to track your locations, that those operating system can easily grab your locations and send it to Google server. Okay. So there also the main component is your location, and your location details is actually the data. Okay, so nowadays or in the coming 10 or 20 years, the data will be our new oil, and the world economy will be controlled by the commodity called data. Okay, so have you got the idea of data, why it is important?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the reality about data is we are actually drowning in data. Data everywhere we have data, but the actual fact is we are starving for insights. Okay, we have much data around us, but we don't have insights, or we are not able to find insights from the data. Okay, so for that particular situation, what is the solution? The solution is actually the data science. Okay, the data science comes in the role, like we are drowning in data, but we are starving for insights. So from the data to get the insights, we can actually go behind the area, the booming area in computer science or in statistics or in decision making theory. It is actually called as data science. Okay, so what is data science? What is data science? Data science is a science which deals with data. Okay, data science is a science which deals with data. So, what is the science behind data? The science behind data is there will be a source for the data, right? So from that source, we have to collect the data, we have to store the data, we have to process the data, we have to analyze the data, we have to mine the data, we have to draw new information from the data, we have to visualize the data. Okay, so all these stuffs, all these tasks comes under data science. So the data preparation, data analysis, data modeling, data visualization, data acquisition, data deployment, everything comes under this data science. Okay. So when we are looking into a usual pipeline, data science pipeline, we have a data source. And from that data source, we have different types of data that is called structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. Okay, if you are I will give you a simple example for structured data. If you are collecting some information of several customers in an Excel sheet, that is called as a structured data, right? And for a business purpose, you are considering the data from a WhatsApp chat. That is actually unstructured data because that contains text, images, emojis, audios, videos, everything, right? and semi-structured data is actually in between the structured and unstructured data. Okay, and after collecting this data, there is this phase called data injection, and through that injection, we are storing that data into a particular place called data warehouse. Okay, and from that data warehouse, we can uh, get that data for the other steps. Like first, we have to clean the data. Clean the data means we have to make the data clean uh, to make it compatible for analysis. Okay, after that we can transform the data, because all these analytical things are dealing with statistical and mathematical theories. Okay, so somehow we have to transform different type of data that can be applied into some mathematical and statistical stuffs. And on analysis, we have variety of analysis techniques. Okay, and after drawing some information or insights from the analysis, we have to visualize we have to make it more presentable to the audience. Okay, so a typical data science pipeline includes a data source, a data injection step, storage, cleaning, transformation, analysis, and visualization. Okay, so data analytics in our topic, in our today's discussion, we are going to deal with data analytics. Okay, so this data analytics is one such phase in a data science pipeline. Okay, so at each of this particular phase, there are several peoples dealing with. Okay, on data ingestion and data storage, there will be persons called data engineers. Okay, and in the learning transformation part, there will be some data scientists. Okay, and at the analysis part, data analyst will be there, and different persons are doing these different tasks. Okay, and one who deals with the entire pipeline is called actually a data scientist. Okay, so we are only discussing about the analytical part in the data science pipeline. Okay, so I think you got the idea of data science and data analytics. Can you Are you able to differentiate between this data scientist and data analyst now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the one who are dealing with the entire pipeline is actually called as data scientist, and one who are doing the analysis part is called the data analyst. And in most of the cases, these analysis is done by the statisticians or the mathematicians. But nowadays, the people who are dealing with data, okay, everywhere we can see the people who are dealing with data, and they're all doing this analysis. Okay, that's why in MPA also we have the specialization like data analytics. And when we are looking into the data analytics, what is the need of data analytics? Okay, the main points are: we need to describe the past results, we need to diagnose why past results are occurred, and we need to predict what might happen in the future, and we need to recommend actions for the organization's next step. Okay, in all these cases, the data analytics will play a crucial role. Okay, so according this according to these needs, the data analytics is actually divided into four: descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and perspective analytics. Okay, and when we are looking into the complexity of this analytics, descriptive analytics is more simple, and the perspective analytics is more complex, but the value given by the descriptive analytics is less, and the perspective analytics is bit high. Okay, so I will explain these four of this analytic techniques in detail. Okay, so first we can look into the descriptive analytics part. In the descriptive analytics, we are trying to rule out what happened in a particular situation. Okay, what happened into a particular situation, and in this case, we are actually dealing with the facts that already happened in the situation or in the scenario. So descriptive analytics can serve as that starting point or base of building your analytic strategy. and with some professionals estimating that 80% of the analytics involve descriptions based on the aggregation of past information. The technique like aggregation, data mining, clustering, summary statistics all serve to provide analytics that describe a past state, descriptive analytics. Okay, so as an example, a report provided by your sales team may include information on new clients, win rates, and goal. To customize the data view to look at only specific data to answer a specific question, such as how many customers do you have in Kochi? How many volume did we sell last month in the Kochi city? Okay, so all this information can be drawn from the past data, right? So in most of the cases, descriptive analytics is dealing with the past data, and the outcome of this descriptive analytics are always represented using a dashboard or some visualization techniques. Okay. So are you clear with that? Are you clear with this descriptive analytics? So the tools you are use here we are using is the basic theories from the statistics and mathematics. Okay, like a mean, median, mode kind of things. Okay, so you have I think you may have the idea about descriptive statistics, and those theories are actually applied for analyzing the data in a descriptive way. Okay. So in the second case, we have diagnostic analysis. And here, instead of looking into what happened, here we are more interested to why did it happen? A particular thing is already happened that we have analyzed through descriptive analytics. Now we are digging up the cause of that particular event. So in diagnostic analytics also focus on the past data, and these type of analysis look for cause and effect to illustrate why something occurred. And the objective is to compare the past occurrence to determine the cause. And this, of course, a of probability, likelihood, or a distributed outcome. Okay. So in this way, diagnostic analysis actually dig up the cause of a particular event happened. Okay. And what are the applications that we can done with this diagnostic analysis? Diagnostic analysis can provide guidance by helping to identify the outliers, identify the isolated patterns, identify the uncover relationships. Okay, so like this, we have so many applications for diagnostic analysis. Okay, for diagnostic analysis also we can use the tools like SPSS, Tableau, kind of things. Okay. And when we are going to predictive analytics, okay, predictive analytics, here we are trying to rule out what happened if. Okay, we are actually trying to predict something actually going to happen in the future. Okay, so predictive analytics is the branch of advanced analytics which is used to make predictions about unknown future events. Okay, so here we are relying upon the past data to predict the future events. Okay, so predictive analytics use many techniques from data mining, statistics, modeling, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to analyze current data to make predictions about the future. Okay, and most of the people are actually confused with the aspects of data science, data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. Okay, so the primary difference is the data science and data analytics deals with data, and in the case of artificial intelligence and machine learning, we are trying to make a system more intelligent. So the connection between these two domains are we are applying some techniques from we are applying some techniques from artificial intelligence and machine learning to find or to apply in predictive analytics phase of data science. Okay, and also this machine learning and artificial intelligence have life only if there is as much data. So I think I can say that they are complementing to each other. Okay. And what are the applications of predictive analytics? Suppose if you need to find some fraud detection task, frauds in the transactions, and suppose you want to find some optimization in marketing campaigns, you can apply this predictive analytics. Okay. So here, just remember here from the past data, we are trying to predict something in the future. Okay. And in the case of perspective analytics, we are actually dealing with how to make it happen. Okay. So using predictive analytics, we have actually predicted a future event that may happen. Okay. And if it is something bad or wrong or something not desirable to us, how can we change that? Okay, how can we make that more better? And those kind of analytics are called perspective analytics. In perspective analytics, builds on predictive analytics by helping determine recommended action based on desired potential outcomes, helping organizations to achieve their business objective. Okay. In perspective analytics, models are constantly learning through feedback mechanisms to continuously analyze action and event relationship and recommend the optimal solution. And when we are more into this perspective analytics, we can see we need to really rely upon the artificial intelligence, machine learning, neural network kind of algorithms. Okay, so it is a bit difficult to deal with perspective analytics. Okay, so hope you got the idea about the descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and perspective analytics. Okay, so there's a live poll here. You can just scan this QR code and you can vote for one among this. Which one you like more? Descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and perspective. I will give you 30 seconds. Please, please scan this code and give answers. There is no answers, no feedbacks yet. I'm waiting for your feedbacks. Which one you like more? Descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and perspective. Do you find any difficulty in giving the poll? Are you able to get into this using this QR code? Otherwise, you can take the browser and simply type slido.com, and in that you have to give the ID like 942639 and you can give the poll. Am I audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you
Yes,
are
sir.
you doing this? Yes. I just got 2, 3, 4, 5. There are around 60 participants, right? Now it's 10:40. We will end up this by 10:41. Okay, so try to do it more fast. Nineteen responses. Wow, good. And the others, please. 20, 21, 25, 25, 26. Okay, now it's 10:41. I think we can stop the poll. So from the most of the responses, we can see that more people are interested with descriptive analytics and predictive analytics. Okay. So I will help you to convert this option from descriptive to predictive, okay, using some tools that you can easily use for predictive analytics. Okay. So hope I can move. So when we are dealing with our current scenario, there is something called big data. Okay, that is actually the another phase of data analytics. Okay, so in the case of big data, it is slightly different from the late previous version of data analytics. Okay, because we are now uh, as I said, we are drowning with data, right? So we have different aspects to say whether a particular data is big data or not. So for that, we have to consider the different aspects like volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. Okay, so the big data, is big data equal to large data? Exactly no, because there are different aspects when we are looking into the big data. So the other aspects are like the large data is only volume. The velocity of the data is actually the amount of data arriving at a particular moment. And the variety of data is actually the different type of data we are getting for processing. And the veracity of the data is actually the reliability or the consistency of the data. Okay, so what are the different sources of this big data? We have social media applications, we have IoT devices, we have industrial applications. Some from all these sources, we are actually getting the data, and these data is actually processing some of this property. Then we can say it is actually a big data. And from this particular example itself, a sensor data from a plane, okay, a sensor data from a plane is actually, I don't know how can I count this. Okay, this much TB of data is there in 1 year. Okay, so you might got the idea of how difficult we can analyze this much data with our simple computing environment as well as the computing techniques. So in that case, we have to go behind the aspects of big data and its analytics. Okay, and these are the different tools you can use for data analytics. The simple versions are SAS. You may familiar with SAS, SPSS, Excel, Tableau, Python, R, Scala, Java. Or there are a variety of large number of tools are there, and these techniques like Spark, Hadoop are actually used with big data, and this NumPy, Pandas, TensorFlow, PyTorch kind of things are actually used for AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. And if you are more into predictive and perspective analytics, you have to concentrate on these tools, that big data and AM, ML tools. And if you want to do something with diagnostic analytics or descriptive analytics, you need to rely upon these tools, okay, like SPSS, Excel or something. Okay, so now we can go to the business analytics part. Actually, what is business analytics? Business analytics is the process by which business use statistical methods and technology for analyzing historical data in order to gain new insight and improve strategic decision making. So it basically helps for making decisions. Okay, so it is actually a combination of mathematics, computer science, and business and management. Okay, so in the case of business analytics, the business analyst would do a static and comparative study of the data. And in the case of analyst, a data analyst would do an explanatory analysis, and then will try to experiment by data mining process so as to give a good visual representation of the data. So simply, business analytics often use insights drawn from data analytics to identify problems and find solutions. Okay, so why we need to use business analytics. You can see the the pipeline of business analytics is very same as actually the data analytics. Okay, so these are the different aspects of business analytics: the analyze the data, to draw out new patterns, to give real-time decision making support. All these things are actually happening in business analytics, and for all these things we are actually using the data analytics techniques to apply on business. And you may heard about other words like data science, business analysis, decision science, business intelligence, data analytics, all these stuffs. But you need not to bother much about the difference, as all support the same goal. What is the goal actually? We use tools and techniques to enhance business using data. So in all these stuffs, we are actually trying to enhance our business using the data. Okay, so you can actually I will share the slides, and you can actually find out what is actually the difference between this business analytics and business intelligence. As I said, all these are actually dealing the same thing. Okay, we have to enhance our business using the data. Okay, so I will give you some interesting use cases that we can apply business and data analytics to enhance the business. Okay, the first use case is report automation. Okay, report automation is the process through which digital marketing reports are created and automatically updated using a software. The gathered data can then be delivered to specific email address or a regular base, which automate email dispatch. Okay, and one of the real life scenario that improve the business using report automation is the case of Coca-Cola Bottling Company United. And the problem they are dealing with: manual reporting process restricted access to real-time sales and operations data. So what they have used is they have created a business intelligence platform, and the team actually automated the manual reporting process, and it saves around 640 hours an year and 40 hours per week. Okay, sorry, 6 hours per week. Okay, so by using this analytic technology, we can actually improve the we can actually save the time and improve the business outcomes. And in the case of, and the second case is customer segmentation. And the customer segmentation is the process of dividing customers into groups based on the common characteristics, so companies can market to each group effectively and appropriately. Okay, so one of the algorithms or the one of the technique we are using for customers segmentation is cluster analysis. Okay, so as in the example, you can see by we have a bunch of customers. After applying the machine learning steps, we can actually categorize the customers into free products, into experimenters, high spenders, and deal seekers. And after clustering this, we can actually find out the strategies that make them more comfortable. For experimenters, we have to give the free products. For high spenders, we have to make them as highest tier. And dealer seekers, we have to give some offers to them. Okay, and this customer segmentation actually look into different as demographic features, psychographic features, geographic features, and behavioral features. So this is on the right side bottom, you can see is actually a customer segmentation report. The red color represents actually the customers who are going to get churn out. Okay, and the green colors are actually the customer who are persist for a longer time. So like this, you can actually visualize the results of customer segmentation in a good way. Okay, and the third one is market basket analysis. Okay, that MPA aims to find relationships and establish patterns across purchases. The relationship is modeled in the form of condition algorithm, like if something, then something. Like if sandwich and cookies is bought from a particular customer, then there is a chance to buy drinks by the same customer. Okay, so this is actually called as items at an association mining, and these techniques are usually used for recommended systems. Okay, and you can see most of these companies, Facebook, eBay, LinkedIn, all are using these analysis for giving recommendation to the users. And one of the famous example for this particular market basket analysis is, after analyzing the data from the transaction data from a famous supermarket, hypermarket, they figure out that those who are buying diapers are buying, there's a chance for buying beer bottles. Okay. Uh, can you figure out the connection between these stuffs? A diaper, a baby diaper, and a beer bottle. Have you ever heard this example before?
No, sir.
The connection is like in Saturday in Western countries, they have Saturday night parties. Okay, so they will go with their children, and for that parties they need beers. Okay, so to enjoy that party, they have to make their babies sit comfortably. Okay, so they will buy diapers also. So in those particular days where this Saturday night parties are happening, most of the people are actually buying the diapers and beer bottles together. Okay, so this is actually interesting, right? Because we cannot figure out this relationship between diapers and beers by analyzing it in a manual way. Okay, so these basket analysis will really help you to find out these type of interesting relationships. Okay, and one more example is, in most of the cases, you may find out a situation like in Amazon or Flipkart. After buying a particular product, on the payment page, you will get some recommendations. Those who buy this mobile phone also buy this particular charging cable or tempered glass. Have you got that experience?
Yes, sir.
Y- Yeah. So all these stuffs are actually done by this market basket analysis. And the last one is a sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is a way of ac- attaching a metric to a snippet of data that convey how positive or negative is connotation is. Okay, so this is actually a trending area in predictive analytics. Okay, and the technique we are using is classification. The core machine learning technique or the data mining technique we are using for sentiment analysis is classification, and we can use machine learning as well as deep learning for sentiment analysis. On applying deep learning, the analysis, the accuracy of the analysis is more perfect. Okay, so on giving a particular text, you can see, okay, you can see the sentiment of a particular person. My experience so far has been fantastic. It's actually a positive sentiment. The product is okay, I guess. That is actually a neutral sentiment. Your support team is useless. It is actually a negative sentiment. So from these feedbacks, it is very apt or very important to make further decisions or how we can enhance the productivity or customer relationships. Okay, so the sentiment analysis plays a big role in predictive analytics. Okay, and you can also see the visualization of a sentiment analysis. Okay, so these are the comments. You can see the sentiment here, and you can show some graphs that represents the feedbacks from the users. Okay, so all these stuffs can be visualized in a good way. Okay, so when we are looking into the uh, difference between data scientist and business analyst, okay, these are the difference, and the tools, the salary, the industry, the role, concepts, Actually, when we are looking into the salary aspects, the salary of a data scientist is actually the twice that of business analytics. Okay, so if you are good at data analytics as well as in business, you can actually excel in the field of this analytics. Okay, so these are the career paths you can pursue after studying the data analytics and the business analytics: machine learning engineer, data architect, statistician, data analyst, chief data officer, application architect, project manager, market research analyst, business analyst, translator, data scientist. These are all the roles that you can apply after getting a thorough understanding or having a great expertise in data and business analytics. Okay, so again there is a poll. Okay, you can actually scan this code. What you find interesting talk? Okay, just give some keywords. Okay, so I will give you 2 minutes. Please give your feedback that what you find interesting in this. No, no. If you're scanning the code, you just need to directly input the words you have interested with. So far, I got 4 responses, 5 data. Yes, 6 responses. Market basket analysis. Yes. Big data. Yes. Specific information rather than general ones. Yes. 12 responses. Big data. Twenty-one. Yes. Okay. Customer segmentation. Right. Okay. So on getting 30 responses, I think we can close the poll. Okay, three more, 3 more responses needed because there are around 60 people. So I just want half of it. Okay, 20 only 27. No more polls. So I hope only 27 participants are actively listening to this, right? Okay, so we can wind up this particular poll. Okay, so from this analysis, we can see the market basket analysis is more attractive to the audience. Okay, and do you think this is also an analytics? Okay, through this analytics, I find out your interest of area, right? So if I'm going to give some other sessions, I can really look upon the market basket analysis that you are more interested with. Okay. So these are my details, and before winding up, I will show you an
Okay, okay, sir. Okay. Sir, thank you so much, sir. There's a lot of information. Thank you so much. It's the time to express our gratitude. I welcome our student coordinator, Shama Prasannan, for the vote of thanks.
Good morning, all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. First and foremost, I thank our guest, Mr. Shailesh Shivan sir, for spending your valuable time with us. He presented the topic in a really good manner. We really enjoyed the talk and it was so informative. Let me thank you on behalf of IMT Punapura and its beloved students who are here today. And thank you participants for making the occasion much good and interesting. Thank you all.
Sir, hello.
yes,
Hello,
yes,
can you
yes,
hear?
yes.
So that if that possible, like that PPT, if you can share it with our participants, is that possible?
Yeah, sure.
Or
I'll share it.
yeah, that will be also great because they can refer it in the future also, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you for the great opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.